got together to create some funds to create at least it was an infrastructure of sorts, which was highlighting the fact that art departments should be wary of using paints that have VOCs and just suggestions. And I think that's only probably in the last year or so that's existed. And Kerry mentioned earlier the London Council has probably about 3 years ago started really incentivising productions in the UK to think about their environmental impact, and also started providing guidelines for the theatre companies as well.
And obviously New Zealand have got a fabulous website, Screen New Zealand.
Yes.
They've got a fabulous website, as has Screen Toronto,
British
UK.
Columbia.
Yeah, I mean, they really are a lot. I mean, something came up the other day, somebody said, in fact, Kaya.
Yes, she was right in front of me.
You Kaya? From the location guide. It's not easy filming green, was an article a client sent to me on last week. And then there just is enormous amount of awareness. But as people are saying, I think the spirit is there, but actually putting it into practice people are finding it hard.
And also there's the question of greenwashing, which Michael brought up with me when you're nodding your head, who I haven't met yet, but there you are, hi. He was saying, it's nice to meet you. He mentioned to me, you should talk about the Green Olympics. I was one of the designers on the opening ceremony. Deep Sea Dreaming was my segment, and I said, what Green Olympics? And he used the expression greenwashing, which I actually had to sort of looked up in the dictionary, and it's actually a term now. And I believe it to be very common, and that is companies that want to be seen to be green but actually aren't. And I'd say, possibly they were green in some ways. I don't know, I didn't hear about it, but certainly not in my area, the art department. We didn't even think green then, we didn't talk about it, and there was no waste management, recycling, nothing like that. I'm sorry to say, it's 10 years ago. I've always been fairly green as a person myself, but there was no schemes.
I bought that because I actually worked as a lawyer in the Olympic Arts Festival.
Oh, okay.
And all the contracts included provisions requiring suppliers.
Oh, really?
And I certainly remember a lot of, that was apparently a pretty integral part of Sydney's pitch.
Yes.
And
wow.
There's Newington, to give them credit, I guess Newington looks pretty good now, some of the things they've done there. But that was certainly an important part of it.
Well, like I said, there probably were green aspects, but they weren't in the production.
Yeah. There's more to do with the remediation of the site,
yes.
And also the power and water management.
Okay, well that's very important, yeah.
But it's interesting that it was in Perth Lake through.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's only this far, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Is there actually like a website that you can get more information? Like, I know about reverse garbage, but that's the only place I've actually been able to find in the whole of Sydney. I do know of a good one on the Central Coast, which has seconds from factories.
Clarkson's.
And it's
good, isn't it?
The average like 50 cents a metre, and it's a whole warehouse.
So what are you looking for specifically?
I'm just saying, why is there only one place in Sydney that does this reverse garbage type of thing? And why isn't there more?
Reverse garbage.
I think it is the only.
Reverse garbage are the only ones dealing in industrial waste on that scale.
Yeah.
The Barrows around the corner doing furniture. But again, you've got lots of second-hand furniture stores as well, so we're dealing with stuff that no one else wants. Reverse garbage have been doing it for 30 years, and they've been doing a fairly good job in managing what they can, but I think you've got a problem with demand. They're now running RG 2010 in Taylor Square, and that's a really great resource for COFA students, and it's starting to bring more people into the Marrickville complex as well. But the second part is we're both not-for-profit charities. We've got next to no funding, we subsist on grants, and we've got minimal space for turnover. So it does really come down to funding and having some kind of infrastructure that supports that kind of practice. So even it's one thing to be selling goods, but we all work on donation as well. So it's about people knowing that we're there in order to resell these things. A lot of things end up going through donation to things like Men's Sheds, which are other community organisations that build wheelchairs and things out of bicycles for third world countries, and they go to charitable organisations rather than for resale.
So I guess that whole labour-intensive thing is obviously very costly. But I mean, I guess it's interesting. The one on the Central Coast has been running for years and years and years and years since I was a child.
Yeah.
And they have expanded. Like they're just a company.
Yeah.
So they're making money out of what they're doing. And I'm surprised that no one else is doing that.
Yeah, you've got to maybe look laterally.
It's very ad hoc. I mean, I'm thinking of a production chick from way back, and being theatre and film. Usually what we do, we'd get it to the end of the production, we get onto our limited network, so I'd ring all the production managers going, okay, so who's in production, what do you need? And that's how we would pass stuff on. The same deal happens with theatre. If it's not going to the Bower or Reverse Garbage, we have a tendency to hand things on within our limited network.
Prop houses and that, yeah.
It's kind of difficult though. I think that's why people
Well,
are.
hopefully the next couple of months when I get my own business.
Yes. Well, Mel's going to, she's concentrating on this area, but I'm not sure whether you mean sourcing or passing on, because
Both.
Well, passing on the prop houses, I've always passed things back to prop houses. And even when I had to buy new, I always gave them back if I could, or new stuff to them. But for my sculptures, installations and that, I mean, scrap metal yards, building, recycling, that type of thing.
Recycling and salvage has gone down in the last 5 years rather than up.